I think you have to create active income in order to create passive income. So I agree that they need to start doing it. You always need to do the hard work on the front end just so you understand what it is. It's like whenever we were in school, we had to learn long division. Like seriously, when's the last time you did long division?
I don't know how to do long division anymore.
You use a calculator, right? But you had to understand what the math was behind it. I do think that that's what you have to do. And once you get to a point, it's like I wanted to manage the first rental house I owned, but I don't want to manage anymore, right? So yes, I may reduce my net profit, but at the end of the day, if I have more income than it costs me to pay someone to do it, it then becomes passive.
Yeah, I will say this. I agree with you. I think there's opportunities under your nose if you're in that millennial category, right? If you're in the next one, here's what I'm just saying practically, what I I just got off a call with somebody, really successful real estate family. And you know what the biggest opportunity for them is that they have things that they've always thought to be true about where their money is flowing, that just by redirecting some of those things, they're all of a sudden freeing up more of their money, not going towards expenses that can go into savings, that can go into buying additional real estate properties. We did the math. They're consistently earning 15 to 20+% on these rental homes. If they can just look for where that cash is flowing, maybe they were trying to pay a mortgage down faster. Maybe they were trying to pay extra on their mortgage. Maybe they're doing health accounts that they're putting extra money unnecessarily into premiums. These are little things that if you add those up, those are great opportunities to create passive income.
So you're saying working on the opposite side of the formula, talking about reducing monthly expenses unneeded and stuff. I agree. There's a lot of waste there.
Where they were saving money wasn't creating passive income. So just by directing those, man, I mean, you can create thousands of dollars a month under your nose again. And I think that's the big opportunity for our generation, as you're talking about, Russ. All right, and then so the last group there, what's some practical ideas?
Well, I think that they've got a nest egg of cash, right? And so it's changing your thought process, like Russ mentioned, thinking that those people aren't willing to change their process. I think that's the biggest thing. You as a 50-plus-year-old out there, that's the biggest obstacle you're facing, is realizing like, okay, I've been storing. Now I'm at this big number. Most of them think, well, the only option I got is just to start decreasing this big number and living off of it, right? That's not always true. There are places, practical places, that don't require tons of energy, tons of effort to learn to store cash that continue to give you money on the back end. Well, that's passive income.
Well, I think a great example of that is my father-in-law, whenever they took over my wife's dental practice loan. To me, that's the simplest thing. And that's where if you're in that 50 to 65-year-old market, you probably have a child who's a business owner and who are, using money, even if maybe you have a kid who's this millennial generation who still has huge student loan debt at 6.8%, and you got cash just sitting in low interest bearing accounts. The fact that we're not lending money to those generations and letting them pay us instead of pay the banks is crazy. So that is where I see definitely where the 50 to 65-year-old can get involved. The family lending, I've seen it in our life personally. My in-laws receive almost $9,000 a month in income checks from our families for the things that we were paying banks for at one time and that we're paying them.
Oh, so good.
And that's really good.
And for those parents out there listening who are of the 50-plus age, I just saw a study the other day that came out. I think you might have forwarded it to me, Russ, but 4 of the top 10 most hated companies by millennials are large banks. So your kids, they dislike student loans, but even more than disliking student loans, they dislike who has put that burden on. I mean, they put the burden on themselves, right? They took the loan out, they went to school. But who is in control of that is the banks. They would much rather pay you as a mom or a dad or a grandparent